Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen, or Select Board, sorry, meeting of Tuesday, June 27th. It is 5:30 p.m. Looks like we were supposed to have Martha Thurber on for our first appointment, and that has been canceled. But we do have our two wonderful ladies here for the rec committee to give us an update on the swimming pool project.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You want me to go around? Okay. All right, well, as you know, things are still moving along. We had planned to open by June 30th. However, the weather has not been conducive for that. We have 3 sections of concrete left to pour on the deck. And once that happens, then they can wrap it up with the fence that has to be in place for, to get our approval for a certificate of occupancy. There's certain things, the fence, permanent fence being one of them, along with some other deck work that has to happen. So right now we're at the mercy of the rain.
Next week.
We're very hopeful.
And next week looks like a good week, because I've had it too. I planted some fresh grass on the hill and it's down the road now, so
Okay,
somebody else is out.
so Larry says it's gonna be next week.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it's gonna be.
Satisfy you?
Yeah, no, I mean, truly, the subs have all worked very diligently, very hard. There hasn't been anyone that has, as far as we're concerned, no one has, delayed this. It's been, we had a little bit of a delay in some construction materials that got hung up at the Canadian border and literally needed an act of Congress to get them across the border to us. You always hear that. Well, it actually happened.
Wow.
So those arrived, what was that, a week ago, last Friday?
Yeah.
That was sort of holding things up in the plumbing department because there were the panels that had to get, put into the wet areas of the building. So now that those are in, the plumbers have been going full steam ahead, getting that all squared away. And then, of course, like I said, the rain. So everyone keep their fingers crossed for a good dry slot. So every day this week they're set to pour, provided the weather has a good opening.
How are we getting,
Cancel every day.
can I ask a question? How are we getting the word out to the town and other people who are interested?
So we have a Facebook page called Fans of the Buckland Rec. It's a group page, and we have a lot of followers, almost, we're up to like 480 something. And that's how we've been kind of getting the word out with pictures and stuff. I have not updated it, and I will tonight, because we wanted you guys to know that we were not opening on June 30th like we had planned. And we're very sad about that, but it's just out of our control.
We really waited till the very last minute, hoping that somehow there would be a break in the weather. I mean, as of our construction meeting on Monday, our builder was still pretty much like, yep, we're gonna still make this thing happen, but the rain had other plans. So
Would it help to reach out to the recorder and ask them to do a story about it so people
We
run on
want them to
Facebook?
do a story, but we want to wait until, we're going to kind of, when we do open, we're going to do like a soft opening, and then we're going to have a big ceremony probably around the end of July, and
Okay.
that's when we would probably reach out.
if we had a firm date that we would open, absolutely. But we don't want to say it's going to be, the 5th, and then have something, the weather. I mean, I don't know if you've all seen the weather forecast, but it seems like every day this week looks.
So they said next week looks good. They say dry, but they say.
Cindy just checked. Tomorrow actually looks decent, so we're going to keep our fingers crossed that it may
They
happen.
are on the schedule.
And Friday does too.
Yeah.
Thursday,
So-
I'm not so sure.
We've been in conversation with the FERCog for their health inspections.
Yeah.
Randy is on board pretty much when we can give him the go-ahead. They're coming up tomorrow to do some training on the filtration system for our CPOs. So yeah, we're like little pieces of the puzzle. They're all there. We just have to get it all together.
It is kind of like a domino effect. It's like you can't get one sub in there until the other sub is out. And it's like, so everybody's kind of all over the place right now, trying to work around each other, and it's been a little bit of a issue.
It's a big
But
project.
the pool is filled and it's looking good.
Yeah.
And we're,
That rain last night should have filled it right up.
It's like,
It's overfilled at the moment.
Little
Taking some of the water.
backwashing now,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we have to give a big shout out, we haven't done it publicly yet, but to the fire departments in this area, they all stepped up and did a work bee a couple Saturdays ago to get it filled, so that was a
There are,
really great community
there are
effort.
volunteer recognition tonight.
Oh, good, yes, no, it was very, very well received by us, we were very happy. Really felt very much like a community pool for the community effort, so, yep.
You guys have all your staff positions filled and ready to roll?
and I
Good.
met with them all last night, with the exception of a couple of them, but, they're all, I mean, they know, I told them that we weren't gonna open up on June 30th, and they were fine with it, they were like, they understood, and, so we'll get them on board as soon as we can, I kinda left them on the schedule, like every day, we'll just keep plugging away and get you on, so,
Excellent.
yeah, we've got a really good staff,
Yeah.
really good staff. We're very fortunate, because there's a lot of other lakes and
Yeah.
pools that are still looking for staff. So
Excellent.
I'm happy with them.
Yep.
It's a huge project for our town, so thank you for your work
Yes.
and your
thank you.
leadership.
It will be well worth it in the end.
Yeah.
Do you get to take the first dunk, is that it?
I've been up to my knees.
No, the official first dunk, like they, when the
Cannonball, Cindy.
The crew from Taylor Davis are saying that they're gonna be the first ones in the pool, so we'll see, we'll
Yeah.
see.
And that's really been great to see too. All the subs are very devoted and really feel, I think, a little bit of ownership beyond
there's
what
a
maybe
chair right there.
some others feel. Like it's been kind of almost it sounds kind of corny, but like heartwarming in a
Yeah.
way, because they really all feel like they want to see us through to the finish line, and they're all pretty excited, and it's been really,
And
I
they've
feel
got-
like giving it more than above and beyond
Yeah.
in a lot of cases.
I think they have all winter to get this far, it's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
No, they really, we have no complaints
no,
whatsoever.
no, I don't think we can at all, you're right.
Yep.
Did you see the Buster Crab video? when-
Yes,
The
yeah.
original?
yes, yeah, yeah. I think I have the original sitting down on my
Yeah,
desk,
it is.
actually.
This year playing the part of Buster Crab will be
No, his mom.
his mom, yes,
His mom is an
Caroline.
icon of the Buckland
Yes,
Rec.
she is, yes, she is.
So, anyway, so that's our
That's our
update.
spiel.
Hopefully, we'll be back to tell you really good news the next time. So,
And I really need to take the opportunity to publicly stress, I know that everybody in this room knows how hard Pam and Cindy have been working this project, but this project would not be happening at all if it wasn't for their attention to detail, their attention to budget, so many facets of this project. I mean, the installation of the wireless network up there, making sure that the people that are getting certified to be operators, that is happening, all of the permitting through FERCog, not just the building permit, but the pool operational permitting, the staying on the contractors and making sure that those details are all taken care of, setting up to have the pool filled with the fire department. I mean, the list could go on for pages and pages and pages and pages, and it just would not be happening, and not, or at least not happening with the efficiency and the quality product that you're getting if it wasn't for Pam and Cindy. So, thank you.
Yes, you two have been
Really.
doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
it's really been a great project.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We make a good team, right?
we
Cindy?
do make a
Yeah.
good team.
And we're still speaking to each other, so that's even better.
Yeah.
Yep, so,
We may text each other at 10 o'clock at night, but
yep. It's all good,
Yeah,
so.
I don't know, I mean, there's gonna, once it's completed, Cindy, your work is really just, but we've gotta come up with another,
I already have, I'm thinking projects for both of them. Yeah.
yeah.
Just gonna say your next assignment will be coming out
We're
soon.
gonna give Pam a couple of hours to catch up on her assessor work.
All right, yeah, we'll send you take a week off too, between us.
Yeah.
Well, off? Yeah.
Wow,
No,
not doing it.
No, it's been great. We've been
Good.
happy to do it.
yep.
Wonderful.
Excellent. All right. Anything else?
No.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you for the update.
Yep, anytime.
All right. Move on to our agenda items. We have committee annual reappointments. The select board appointing committee and board members is provided by either the town bylaw or Mass General Law. Heather, I've got to go through and read all of these.
For the record, I would say
Okay.
yes, but you could get to a good pause and share the motion. There's certainly enough there for,
We'll see how we get through
Okay.
here.
You can do it, Glenn.
All right. At this time, I move to appoint the individuals as follows. Heather Butler as ADA Coordinator for an indefinite term. Colin Scott and Paul Willis to the Agricultural Commission, each a 3-year term. Kyle Dragon as Animal Control Officer for an indefinite term. Karen Schaefer to the Buckland Cultural Council for a 3-year term. Les Chadwick as Caregiver of Veterans Graves for an indefinite term. Stephen Howland to the Conservation Commission for a 3-year term. Janice Fluriel to the Council on Aging for a 3-year term. Melissa Griffin as Fence Viewer and Field Driver for an indefinite term. Herb Guyette as Forest Warden for an indefinite term. Jake Purinton and Craig Purinton as Deputy Forest Wardens for an indefinite term. James Bonham as Franklin County Building Inspection Program for a 3-year term. Carmela Lanza Wheel to the Cooperative Public Health Oversight Board for a 3-year term. Heather Butler to the FERCog Planning Representative Alternate for a 1-year term. Herb Guyette to the FERCog Regional Emergency Planning Committee for a 3-year term. Peter Otten as a Franklin County Regional Transit Authority Representative for a 3-year term. Andrea Donlin and Margaret Taft Ferguson, alternate, to the Franklin County Solid Waste Management District Board of Directors for a 3-year term each. Jeff Purinton as Gypsy Moss Superintendent for a 3-year term. Heather Butler as Hazardous Waste Coordinator for an indefinite term. Holly Anderson and Michael McCusker to the Historical Commission for a 3-year term each. Heather Butler and Herb Guyette to the Emergency Management Team for a 1-year term each. Marion Scott to the Nillman Road Scholarship Fund for a 1-year term. Michael Hoberman, Andrea Azaza Gary, and Maria Elena Mariel to the Planning Board for 3-year terms each. Pam Guyette, Cindy Schwartz, Carol Foote, Brandon Basias to the Pool Building Committee for a 1-year term each. Daniel Fluriel, Christy Moore, and Cindy Schwartz to the Recreation Committee for 3-year terms each. Chris Drury as Sewer Hookup Inspector for an indefinite term. Dennis Clark as Surveyor of Wood, Bark, and Lumber for a 3-year term. Michael Coachella as a Town Accountant for an indefinite term. Heather Butler as a Town Administrator for a 3-year term. 3 years?
it's the length of my contract, so,
It'll be longer now.
okay.
Carol Leach as a Town Treasurer and Town Collector for an indefinite term. Linda Marcotte as the Assistant Town Treasurer and Assistant Town Collector for an indefinite term. Carol Leach as a Workers' Compensation Agent for an indefinite term. James Ray to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 5-year term. Randy Heminger to the Zoning Board of Appeals, alternate for a 5-year term. Pam Guyette as Director of Assessing for a 3-year term. Michael Novark, Penny Novark, Margaret Olin, Harvey Shackman, and Brian Summer to the Energy Committee for a 1-year term each. Larry Wells, Carol Leach to the McKnight Scholarship Fund for a 1-year term each. Mark Amstein, Gabriel Colwell LaFleur, Michael Hoberman, Ellen Kaufman, Marilee Kelsey, Jeffrey Rose, Jill Selleck, Janet Sinclair, Chris Skelly, and Phoebe Walker to the Open Space and Recreation Committee for one-year term each. Heather Butler, Michael Parker, Anthony Gutierrez, Herb Guyette, Anthony Jewell, Henry Phillips, Greg Bardwell, and Janet Sinclair to the Public Safety Committee for one-year terms each. Following committees and positions have vacancies: the Conservation Commission, Personnel Committee, Regional Vocational School Committee, Agricultural Commission, Board of Registrars, and Veteran Service Representatives.
And I'll second that motion. Do we have to vote individually on them, or can we one vote, do you know?
One vote.
One vote, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? No. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None.
And you will notice how glamorous some of my titles are.
I did.
Hazardous Waste Coordinator,
Yeah, I know, I was impressed.
all the jobs that nobody else wants.
HWC.
It's all right.
So how do we get word out that, that these positions don't have any openings? Can we send like a press release to Bella?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, moving on. We have the Shared Police Services update. We do have a letter of transition for Sergeant Gilmore. Heather, I did have one question on that.
Absolutely.
Should we be looking at a resignation letter from him over a termination of employment with us?
We could handle it that way. This was just, as we were discussing it in our group, this was, but sure, absolutely.
I don't think it would make any difference either way, but I'm just wondering if it would be,
So we take a
More
letter of
professional.
resignation. So maybe just elaborate, because I know that even among the board, there was some confusion by this on the, we're not terminating or
right.
looking
It's a
to.
transition.
It's a transition.
Because Kurt will be leaving the
Right.
employment of the town of Buckland
Correct.
and transitioning to the employment of the town of Shelburne for police services. Sure, let me go back to the to the group and
I mean,
ask the question.
if he's okay with how that is, I would say maybe just give him the option.
Okay,
Um,
yep. Absolutely.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a friendly letter, so it's.
Yes,
yeah.
no,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
right.
So.
I mean, it's not, it is what it is at this point. You know,
And also along the lines of the transition, I just want to bring you up to speed a little bit on how the grant that we have for the transition to shared services. We don't have to say proposed transition to shared services anymore because town meeting approved it, and that is happening. So there were some funds that were available for capital improvements to the Buckland Police Station. It's been determined through the working group, as well as affirmed by this board and by town meeting, that we will no longer use the Buckland Police Station, so therefore putting those grant funds towards that building would no longer be appropriate. We had talked about using that money as our capital stabilization deposit, so that we would have some money available for future capital purchases. The state said that they would prefer that we not retain those funds, that we would transition those over to the town of Shelburne. Chief Bardwell has started investigating whether or not we could expend them more immediately with the purchase of a new cruiser. So he is seeking quotes for that, and we're working through some of the final reconciliations to make sure that there are enough grant funds for that cruiser purchase. I do support it. I think it's a good use of the funds. The state would certainly support it rather than us tucking it away. They always want to see the money expended. But we do have to, before we make a commitment to that, and I'll bring that back to this board, when we continue to reconcile those funds, but I wanted to make you aware that that was now part of that conversation. He's identified some small ticket capital items on the Shelburne side, but between the cruiser and the salary for the new officer, those have been identified as his priorities, so.
How much money are we talking about?
Well, the grant total was $200,000.
Right.
23,000 of that was spent on the Collins Center to work with us to get to this point. And then there was some incidental, small, legal counsel review, that type of stuff. And then we spent some money, there was $79,000 budgeted for transition costs. And that included uniforms, new weapons, and those costs have already been expended. So really what we're down to is the salary for the new officer, some furniture for the Shelburne Police Station to accommodate the new officers, and there's still quite a bit of money on the table that if we can put it into a capital asset, I think it's a good idea.
To give them a space here, we still talking
Yep,
about that?
yep,
so
yep,
they might
Yep.
need something for
Yep,
that.
they will absolutely have a space
Yeah, they
up
might-
here.
they might
It
need
may
something.
very well be this room,
Sure, yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
They'll need a lockable cabinet and a desk and a few things anyway.
Yeah.
Just for their own privacy, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, I'll bring those final reconciliations back to you, but I just wanted to mention it now so that it's not a shock when I say we're buying a car.
Okay.
Okay. Is that letter something you're just gonna be able to sign there?
Yes.
Is that something we need to vote on?
No, because if we need the letter, we'll come back.
All right. The transfer station for the July 4th holiday schedule, I believe, is gonna be open on July 5th.
Well, that's a discussion that, about, we have, one attendant that, would prefer to be open on the 4th, and one,
It now changed, as of today, I went up and talked to them, and
Oh, okay.
they wanted me to tell you that, so they want to make it official in the meeting that both of them now understand the 5th is better.
okay.
Make a
They-
motion that the
yeah.
transfer station will be open on July 5th instead of the 4th.
I second that.
Any further discussion?
Why am I here? Yeah.
Yeah,
Just to make sure you knew, so. it's-
Thank you.
yeah.
Now you know.
Thank you, now I know.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
We thought you'd like a surprise, that's all.
I love a good surprise.
And that is.
No, that's great. I do think the 5th is a better day. I don't think anybody should be working on a holiday unless they're a first responder. And for all of you, I appreciate that you're working.
I don't know how many
I
people
won't be working.
how many people will be going to the transfer station on the 4th. There other things usually on their minds.
Documents to sign. We have some MOUs. It looks like we have the Franklin County Solid Waste Management District hauling services. Would you like to elaborate more on that?
This is a annual contract that we sign with the Solid Waste District in Greenfield. They manage the contract with Waste Management on our behalf and on the behalf of all the other communities that participate in the Solid Waste District. And then they will bill us accordingly. They do a great job of managing it and send us monthly reconciliations. They vet the bill to make sure that the tonnage is correct. It takes a tremendous amount of work off of our staff. So for sure, I would like to continue with our arrangement.
Have the prices gone up since last
So
year?
we've been locked into that contract. The waste management pricing for the FY24 did come in higher. I think we had a conversation during our budget that they had originally proposed 14%, and Jan pushed back and got them down to 8%. So yes, they've gone up, but not as much as
Most things.
as
Not
most
as much
things.
as they wanted to.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
We're only gonna see increased costs in our waste management. I mean, it's inevitable.
Yep. Okay. Alright. I would accept a motion to sign the MOU for the Franklin County Solid Waste Management District hauling services.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, a second?
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? None. Next is a MOU for the Franklin Regional Council of Governments, the age-friendly planning.
So this is the same program that you just signed a MOU for the FY23 program. You signed it about a month and a half ago. We went into warp speed to make sure that we expended the FY23 funds. It was about $4,200. These are the funds that paid for the ice cream social and raffle that we had 2 weeks ago out
Which I
back.
heard was a big hit.
It was tremendous. It was fantastic. The weather just held off just enough so we could have our ice cream. And thank you to Moe's for partnering with us on that. We had a great raffle. We purchased gift certificates from, I think, 8 local businesses that were then raffled off. So really, hats off to Joanne and Ellen and Jan Florio for pulling that off. It was a really fun, nice event. We had 3,200, well, I take that back. We had $3,600 left. So 2 pool passes were included in that raffle.
Excellent.
And we were using the remaining funds to purchase 4 6-foot benches. That was,
Nice.
we'll put 2 at the rec, hopefully along the trails, 1 at the Upper Buckland Common, and then there's a discussion about whether or not we can put the 4th bench on Ashfield near the Liberty Tree by the church.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping to make that happen. It is private property, so we've got a little bit of details to work out. But anyways, really nice effort on behalf of the Council on Aging, and I'm thrilled that the program is annual and that the town will continue to have about $4,000 to spend on age-friendly planning going forward, if you sign the MOU.
Accept the motion to accept the MOU for the Franklin Regional Council of Governments age-friendly planning.
So moved.
Second?
Any
I
further
gotta get
dis-
used to this.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. And we have the MOU for the Franklin Regional Council of Governments Regional Energy Planning.
So this is also another incredible time saver. The FERCog has a really great group of individuals that help manage the Green Communities Grant Program for the member towns. There's a lot of data-driven analysis that goes into the annual reporting that keeps us eligible for grants. It is certainly above my pay grade, and I am absolutely, this is my favorite one, because there's just, the grant opportunities are great, love to take advantage of them, but the reporting that goes along with it is just very cumbersome. And so this continues to allow us to take advantage of the very smart individuals at the COG.
Thanks for that. Accept a motion to accept the MOU for the Franklin Regional Council of Governments Regional Energy Planning.
So moved.
I second it.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right. And then permits and licenses. We have a town hall use permit for the Cooperative Public Health Services. It looks like 3 dates that they're
Yes.
looking for 7/27, 8/24, 9/28.
And they are looking for us to waive the fee for that. The recommendation that we have is that we can waive the fee. I mean, we'll waive the custodial fee, which is a couple of hours worth of our time to clean up after their lunch and have the hall, cleaned after the event. So, but still charge the $30 use fee. We think that's fair,
Okay.
but the request is to waive all of it. So that's our recommendation, but it's up to the board whether or not.
No, I mean, I think that that would be fair, is, waiving the fee for the hall usage, but, I think any cleanup should be on them. I don't see the town should be incurring that cost of paying somebody to do that full cleaning and trash removal and everything else.
So, to clarify, what exactly are we voting on? What are we waiving?
We would be waiving the custodial fees,
Oh, okay, but not the rental fee?
but not the rental fee.
Okay.
Okay.
all right.
Only because it's a more known number. They will, the custodial fee could be the much larger number,
Okay,
depending upon the amount of trash that we have to dispose of from whatever luncheon. So, but really, that's just the recommendation.
I mean, are they
It's-
planning on having food?
I believe they are,
It
yes.
said here, it said, we're going to have food.
And another option is that we could just set a fee for the 3 dates. If you wanted to say, like, maybe $50 for all 3 dates, that still gives them quite a discount, but covers us for the, it is summer, we're running the AC.
so when they say remove trash, they're taking it with them, they're not
Yeah.
leaving it here?
Looks that way. They said it's a
They
fee,
had
if fee is waived, that they're going to bring prepared food, remove the trash, sweep, and clean up any spills that they have. And
Okay,
we'll try them on it. Yeah, that's the way I feel anyways.
Okay, so we'll waive the fee. That sounds like good, yeah, I mean, I think we're just looking to make sure that we're covering whatever possible costs.
So they have 3 dates here. So I would say after the first one,
Mhm.
Okay,
see how they do when they're cleaning, and if we have to do more, i.e. trash removal or cleaning up or whatever, then then they would be charged for the cleaning fee for the other 2.
right, I agree.
that's good.
That's fair. Yeah, it's very fair.
So we're giving them the opportunity for the first one. I think we, at this point, would waive all fees, granting that they have the hall back to the way that it was when they first came here.
Right, and they take their trash with them.
Yep. And if that is not the case, then it would be a $50 charge for the other 2 dates. That would be my recommendation.
So you're gonna waive all fees initially and
Yeah,
then
yes.
revisit it if they don't?
So I don't think we need to revisit it. I think we can leave this up to Heather to make that determination
Okay.
at that point. So I will make a motion that the total fee is waived, barring that full cleanup is done to the town hall. And if it is not, then a $50 fee for the remainder 2 days.
Second that, I think that's a good motion.
All right. Does it make sense, Mary?
Yep, total fee waived if cleanup is done. Not $50 for remaining 2 days, right?
Yes.
All right. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Bearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right. Minutes. Mary was very hard at work today and got all the minutes done. So we do have the minutes for April 25th and also for June 13th. And that will put us caught up. I found nothing in the minutes.
Me neither. Very well done, Mary.
So
Thank you.
I would accept a motion to approve both minutes as written.
So moved.
Did you get my email, Joan?
Second, yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in those minutes that they have for signature are your revised.
Okay.
Yep. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Then we have the June 22nd vendor warrant and also the payroll warrant. And then also the 24th vendor warrant. And I saw nothing jumping out at me on those either, so I would accept a motion to approve all three warrants for both June 22nd and 24th.
So, I move that we accept the vendor warrants for the June 22nd and June 24th. Both on June 22nd and 24th.
I second it.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Items not reasonably anticipated by chair 48 hours in advance of the meeting. I have nothing. Any select board member concerns?
No.
Town administrator report.
So I just have one update for you all on the North Street project. That project has hit the brink of the cliff so many times that it's hard to keep up with the drama. And I appreciate everybody's patience. We did receive word that Mass DOT will be picking up the tab for the remainder of the engineering. The Franklin County TPO, Transportation Improvement Organization, approved that amendment at today's meeting. It's about a $400,000 to $500,000 value when it's all said and done. That is a huge weight off my shoulders and obviously off that of the taxpayers and our Chapter 90 for the next few years. Quite honestly, had they not, that project would have stalled out and we would have had to have come back to it in a few years.
That is phenomenal news, Heather.
It is phenomenal news. It is phenomenal news. And
How did that come about?
I'm glad you asked, Joan. No.
This is a setup.
No,
not really.
No, so, our original contract with Weston and Sampson to, get us through the 100% plan submittal. So a TIP project, you have a 25% submittal, you have a 75% submittal, and you have a 100% submittal. And there's probably 24 minor submittals from the designers, the Weston and Sampson engineers, to Mass DOT in between those three major thresholds. And comments go back and forth as this project is designed. Keeping in mind that this project is 4/10 of a mile, does not have any public utilities, and so it's really sort of road reconstruction and some drainage. And pretty significant drainage, but drainage. So our original contract was $178,000 to get us to the 100%. We did have a design exemption along the way, which is DOT speak for, we didn't want 2 sidewalks. We wanted 1 sidewalk that would continue from where the sidewalk on the west side of the road ends now and would continue to 112. So that took quite a bit of negotiation, if you will. So between that and then the remainder of the project to get to advertising in September, the bill came back to us at about $268,000 in addition to the $170 that we had already committed to and already spent. That is just an appropriation that we don't have. I was in, and doesn't even really start getting into the right of way. So we thanked everybody for their hustle and asked them to bring us to a convenient and appropriate place to pause. And we'd come back in a year or two when we were able to find the money to finish the project. Because the project is so high profile, because it is an amendment project, they're trying to do typically the run up to a tip construction project is about 7 years. We're trying to do it in a year and a half. It's garnered quite a bit of attention, and it's critical to Mass DOT's future plans on 112, where they want to pick up the sidewalk and bring that down along past the high school and to the Buckland Rec, which we certainly support and want them to do that project. But there was some going back and forth, and they did decide that it's worth it to them to figure out a way to help Buckland close the gap on this and make sure that that project stays on course. We'll advertise in September, fingers crossed. I know it's been dramatic, and I hate to promise anything, but it does look like we're in really good shape. So that being said, in the next week or so, residents that will be impacted by the right-of-way, which in most cases are going to be temporary construction easements, meaning that the town will seek permission to allow contractors to be on residents' property during construction. Those easements will go away once construction is completed. But there are a few permanent easements for drainage and some of the utilities, like poles and whatnot. So we'll be sending out what they call letters of intent to those residents. There's 20 properties that are impacted. That will happen in the next couple of weeks. And from there, they will be contacted by an appraiser. We use Bob O'Connor. He did all the appraisals for the Conway Street project. He's very good. He's very, very efficient and very fair. And he'll do an appraisal, and then they'll sub out the review appraisals to confirm that work, and we'll move forward with the rights of way and the takings from there. So for each person that's impacted, there'll be a dollar value that is assigned to the number of square feet that are impacted, and they'll be eligible to receive that payment from the town. So that will happen over the summer, and I'll update you as we move along. But residents that are in that area should be on the lookout for a certified letter from the town of Buckland. So,
Excellent.
yeah. That's
Just North Street?
just North Street. That's all I.
One at a time.
That's all you can muster tonight?
It's gonna be a great project, and I'm really relieved that it's staying on course.
Yeah.
Got an update on final paving for Conway and South Street?
It looks like maybe the second week of July. I think the weather, this rain, because the paving contractor is obviously backed up now. You know, jobs that they would have done this week and last week and potentially into next week are all ahead of us. So I hate to commit to a week because I know that they're not able.
Yeah.
Well, they're not, you know. But I do know that the two new culverts have held the water really well. They're
Last night
flowing
was a
like
good
crazy.
test.
Dana's house is still there?
Dana's house is not
Floated away.
floated away. Yeah.
Good.
So hopefully next meeting I'll have an update for you on the sidewalk.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Public comment. Ms. St. Clair.
Yes, hi. You knew I wanted to comment, I guess. You guessed. Yes, I know that you got an email from Emily Stockman inviting you out to do a site visit on my property. Two of the select board members who were here last year when I implored the town not to do any work on my property without going through the Wetlands Protection Act. Unfortunately, the town ended up doing work out there and got a cease and desist order, and now the plan that occurred out there in order to fix the problem appears to be quite insufficient. So what I did was, at my own expense, which could have been the town's expense, hired a wetland specialist. This is not work that I did, this is work that you did. And so this would be a great opportunity for members of the road crew, members of the select board, to be able to go out with a very respected wetland specialist who would be showing you what's going on with the road, not just my property, but just properties in general, like what kinds of things would the road crew be thinking about, or what kinds of things would be considered when you're working in a restricted area, regulated area. So Emily is offering to do this. I'm paying her, which I shouldn't be doing. And so the Conservation Commission will be there. DEP's invited. I'm not sure. I saw the emails, responses from Heather. I don't understand the part about, I don't understand some of the things. I mean, we invited Clint. I'm not sure why you would decline. And then we invited the other select board members. I mean, all of you can go. It's not a violation of the open meeting law if one of you goes. And if two or more of you want to go, you can just post it as a meeting. But given the circumstances and given the history, and given that my concerns have so far been accurately portrayed to you, I would just think that for you want to make informed decisions in the future, to have some idea what the Conservation Commission has to think about, what your road crew should be thinking about. For the road crew, this would be like a free training. So I don't know why you would all decline. I don't know why you wouldn't be concerned. Last night, I haven't been out on my road yet, but I'm going to drive out while it's still late. I heard someone's driveway totally washed out on Charlemont Road. The whole road's in bad shape, made worse by the work that was done last year on my property. My whole property is a very valuable wetlands area. I can't develop it myself. So it's really frustrating to me that the town can do work out there that's illegal, and yet you don't seem to want to really know about it. So anyway, so you're all still invited. It's not a violation of the open meeting law for any of you to attend, as long as you don't talk about it out there. And so you can go out and hear about it now, or hear about what's going on at a later time. But I think it's a very polite and civil way of approaching the situation.
Well, when you guys set a date,
Yeah.
feel free to send us the dates, and if any of us are available
It's
and
gonna
want to
be-
attend.
Yep, it's gonna,
We
right,
will.
I heard
Yep.
from Heather that
Mhm.
you were all declining, that she's speaking on behalf of the board. So you're my elected officials, so that's why
Mhm.
I'm here. I'm talking to you. It's gonna be July 6th, and that's going to, and it should be really interesting. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to me, because, you know, I'm gonna be out there with Heather, I'm sorry, with, Heather may be there, but I'll be out there with Emily as well, and she's just so well respected. So it should be just so interesting for all of us. So July 6th, you're welcome to come. Heather will advise you about whether or not you should post it as a meeting if more of two of you come.
Is there a time set?
There isn't. Is there a time that, right now, we know that Steve Howland from the COMCOM is committed to being there. He's inviting DEP, standard operating procedure. Is there a time that, is there a time that you would do that?
During their working hours, no, because I pretty much carry the same working hours as they do.
I think it's pretty open at this point.
July 6th, what day of the week is that?
It's a Thursday.
Thursday. It would have to be in the afternoon for me.
Okay. Like what time?
Anytime in the afternoon.
Like 1 o'clock or later?
Yes.
And Larry?
Probably the same thing.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate your listening, and I think, I mean, I know it's gonna be really super interesting to me. I was the chair of the Conservation Commission, and so I'm always interested in these issues anyway. So, yeah.
So how will we know that it's firm, Janet?
I will I can write to everybody, respond to everyone, because I don't think that's a violation of the open meeting law to respond to everyone. And I'll just respond to everyone and say to Emily that 1 o'clock or later in the afternoon works for two of you. And then I'll let Emily work it out with Steve. And I have the day off.
Right.
She'll arrange it soon.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Glenn, could I just ask that the implication is that I spoke on behalf of you without.
Right. So I believe all of us as each of us individually actually answered Heather
Okay.
to that email.
I have no idea what happened,
So-
and I didn't see emails,
Yep.
so Heather.
So
stepped
Heather
in.
Heather was speaking on our
No,
behalf
no, that's
at
okay.
that
I'm
point.
not saying she
Yep.
wasn't. That's why Emily asked, because we weren't clear.
Yep.
So, but Emily's, I'm really trying to leave it up to her. I'm gonna have as many questions for her as probably you'll have, so, it should be
Okay.
interesting.
But we're not allowed to reply all. That's open meeting law.
Okay, sure. Then
Okay.
how about?
Right, that's why we go through Heather. So
Okay.
if it comes down to that two or all three of us want to go,
We have to post it.
we'll contact with Heather and have her posted as a
Okay, great.
meeting.
So for now, can I reply to all of?
You can send it to all of us at
Okay,
the same
so-
time.
So now what I'll do is I'll reply to all
You're
of.
just not gonna get an answer from all of us.
Okay, great, sounds perfect.
You will
All
get
right.
an answer from Heather.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
hard to know, right, what's going on there, so.
Yep.
Confusing with the open meeting law. Okay, perfect, all right, thank you
Alright,
so much.
thank you.
Okay, and I'm gonna go look at I heard it's a disaster out there right now, because of all the rain on the Trumbull Road.
I think a lot of the roads got beat up last night,
Did
so.
they? Yeah, okay, thanks a lot.
Yep.
It's a
Any other-
dirt road? I've never been on that.
it's paved.
Oh.
Any other public comment? Hearing none. Volunteer recognition.
For sure, the Buckland Fire Department and the Shelburne Falls Fire Department and all the other smaller departments that participated in the brigade to fill the Buckland swimming pool. My understanding was that it was really quite the show and that they did a great job. And what a great opportunity for both the fire departments to get some training and some practice with that maneuver, and for the Buckland Rec to get the water into the pool.
Excellent.
Anybody take a video?
I believe there were some videos
Oh.
and some photos. Hopefully they'll be posting those.
Good.
That's great.
Announcements?
I want to ask Heather a question, if it's possible. I keep hearing the commission and what we're doing wrong in our town. Had been clarified by attorneys and things that we're doing the right thing in Charlemont Road. I'm,
Yeah, so,
she's always saying. we're
if
doing
you,
wrong.
so, last year, the highway crew was doing, some ditch work.
I remember that,
On,
sure,
on
sure.
Charlemont Mountain Road. They did impact the wetlands along that stretch of land. If you remember, conservation, put some, conditions and asked the highway department to go up and put some, erosion control,
Right.
which they did, as quickly as, I believe it was that afternoon. Conservation went back up, confirmed that the erosion controls were in place properly and met their requirements, and so the order was removed, and we met that.
what-
So as far as I am concerned, the highway department understands better
Yeah.
what their responsibilities are when working in an area where there's a wetland, and that we don't have any plans to work at that exact location. I know that they are aware of the washout above. There's a culvert that is at that individual's driveway. I believe it's 119, and they'll have to look at that culvert. They'll certainly contact conservation and work with conservation on that area. But
I asked for the
Yeah,
assumption
yeah.
that, the assumption by her was that we were doing it illegally, and I didn't
Yeah,
appreciate
I
that.
mean,
So I didn't think it was right, but I didn't want to question because I don't
yeah,
know.
no, certainly the initial work should have had the erosion controls in place before they started ditching.
But it's been rectified.
It was yeah, the next
Everything
day.
is cleared up as far as.
Everything was cleared up,
Okay, thank you.
yeah,
That put,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
Basically, erosion control is like the fabric
Yeah.
Right.
or
Yeah.
sometimes bales
It's
of
my-
hay or whatever.
One of my favorite words, wattle. Those, yeah,
Wattles,
yeah,
that's
right.
yeah, the,
That's what it's called?
yeah,
Wattle?
those, the long, round,
Like a noodle. That you
like
go
a
swimming
noodle,
pool.
like a
Yes.
pool noodle,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was all rectified.
And, yeah, I mean, this is, we have a very young highway
What
crew.
a good crew.
They're a very good crew. They have since reached out to conservation on several other areas where they've had concerns, not wanting to make that misstep again. So I trust them, and if they question, they come to me, and,
Which they should.
yeah, so.
Thank you.
So they're expecting that the highway crew is going to go there or just the super? To this,
I'm not, I don't believe that our highway crew would, or that our.
Sounds like
our full
she's
person-
opening it up to anyone who would like to attend.
okay.
Oh, yes.
You can come too.
All right. Announcements and upcoming meetings. We have a select board meeting on July 11th. Guessing that's probably a Tuesday, along
Yeah.
with
Good one.
Tuesday, July 25th. That is all I have. Heather, did you have anything further?
No.
All right, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
No, you do it. You do it. I'm learning.
I was trying to give you a shot there.
No.
Did you make a motion? I accept it. We'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Further comment? Bearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and have a good evening.